Brace the rudders! Raise the sails! Raise the sails!
Captain, an unidentified ship is approaching. Over.
Roger. Wait, is that an enterprise sales solution?
Reach sales professionals, not professional sailors. With LinkedIn ads, you can target the right people by industry, job title, and more. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Get started today at linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, it's Paris. You know I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and AutoCamp, I just slept under them. Picture me, serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso Virtual Coffee Machines. Ready to enjoy the bold flavors of barista-quality Nespresso iced coffee at home? Simply fill a glass with ice and press the brew button on your virtual pop machine to enjoy rich double espressos roasted to stand up even when chilled. Refreshingly bold iced coffee. Refreshingly easy to make at home. Visit Nespresso.com to shop now.
As a sports fan, I have to confess. Sometimes the game gets kind of boring. That's when I unfold my Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7 and use multi-window viewing on its large screen. Boring game? I'm checking out my fantasy baseball league at the same time. Score still 1-0? I'm replying to emails in the other window, scoring points with the boss. Semifinals finally getting exciting? I'm buying tickets to the finals and booking my flights. Can your phone do that?
The new Galaxy Z Fold 7. Get yours at Samsung.com.
My cat Freddie loves to be brushed and cuddled. But stirring up his cat allergens meant sneezing and itchy eyes. Then I found Purina One Live Clear. It's cat food that reduced the major allergen and my suffering in as little as 21 days. Now, we feel closer than ever. If you have issues with cat allergens, you really need to try Purina One Live Clear.
Try new Purina One Live Clear today. Purina One, a difference from day one.
Hello and welcome to the Assassin's Creed Lorecast. We are so excited to bring you this show.
Our podcast is all about unraveling all of your favorite mysteries from the Assassin's Creed games. Each episode we'll be talking about a different topic in the Assassin's Creed universe. From Pieces of Eden, solar flares, and the Isu, to the Hidden Ones, the Order of Ancients, and of course, the Animus. We will seek to uncover it all.
So join us and maybe even take a leap of faith.
Hello and welcome to the Assassin's Creed Lorecast. My name is Shelby. You also know me as She-Cup, and I'm here with my co-host for another episode.
Hey, I'm Austin or Teacup, and we're back with Assassin's Creed.
That's right. So we are covering another Assassin or Templar character. This time, we are not doing a Pope. We did a Pope last time. Not necessarily a religious figure, but yes, a politician. So let's just get into it.
Yes. So today we are talking about Nelson Mandela, which I think is one of the closest to like present day characters we've talked about.
Definitely.
This is pretty close. I mean, I will say like he is present. Let's just dive right in. Nelson Mandela, he is a South African anti-apartheid activist and politician who served as the first president of South Africa from 1994 to 1999. So this is pretty, this is only 30 years ago. And
this is recent history.
And like in the grand scheme of like historical time, 30 years is not a long time.
Right, like this is still classified as like the modern era.
Yes.
And like this person, I looked it up because I wasn't sure if he had passed away or not, but he died at the end of 2013. Like I was in college, you know.
Right.
So this is our lifetime.
Like we both were alive for this.
Adults for this.
For his death, but not for apartheid. We were kids.
Oh, right. Yeah, sorry.
And so if you are unfamiliar, if you have not heard, just to kind of cover that, apartheid was basically the system of racial segregation and oppression that existed in South Africa from 1948 to about 1990. Basically very similar to Jim Crow, just different and in some ways more strict, in some ways a lot worse, with the British colonists versus the South African natives and all of that.
Yeah, I think it's hard because it is very different because, I mean, we're talking about a South African context versus American. So there's always going to be some contextual differences, but generally, yes, you're right.
Yes.
I think, I'm just thinking back to it. I think that the closest other person that we've covered so far, I know we have a few coming up that are going to be a little bit more recent, but I think the only other closest one we have is
Chairman Mao.
No, I was going to say Oppenheimer.
Yeah, because he goes into the 70s and stuff. 60s, 70s.
When does Mao die?
I mean, I told us in the episode.
I mean, sure, but that was weeks ago. Yeah, so Mao Zedong died in 1976. And then Oppenheimer died in 1967.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, this
is
one, yeah, by far.
Mm-hmm. So he was at South Africa's first black head of state and the first elected in a fully representative democratic election. Now, I want to state this. What this is talking about is the modern government of South Africa. Like, obviously, before colonization by the British Empire, South African was ruled by South Africans.
Right. We're specifically talking about, like, post-colonization. But I do think it's significant to say, like, apartheid ends in 1990. And then in 94, they elect their first black president. Like, I mean, it's significant.
It is very, very significant versus us with segregation officially kind of coming to a close by the end of the 60s.
Yeah.
And then 2008 is when we elect our first black president.
But it's also different because, and I don't know the general demographic information of South Africa, but like, I have to assume that they're a majority black country because they're in Africa. We're not. We're much more of a mix than that. So it does make sense.
So Mandela, I could talk about a lot of the things that he does, but we would be here forever. He is, if you are interested at all in him, it is definitely worth just either reading a biography or even just skimming Wikipedia to learn the things that he does. There's also a movie. I forget what it's called. It's a biopic, I think.
That's what I was looking up because I've seen it.
It might just be called Mandela.
I think it is called Mandela. No, Invictus.
Yes.
It's really good. I've seen it before. It was really good. Also has Matt Damon in it and Morgan Freeman. Plays Nelson Mandela. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I thought it was really good.
Yeah. So like, if you're interested in like what happens in that points of history, like I'm not going to go into the political things that he did because we're here to talk about who he was as a person.
Right. And like, we're not, once again, as always, I feel like we say this every episode. We're not here to give you a full biography of the individual. We're here to talk about the things that impact our opinion on why this person might be an assassin or a Templar.
Correct. So if you have more knowledge, because I will admit I'm not an expert, and you're like, oh, I think that this specific thing affects this decision, definitely leave us a comment or jump in the Discord and share that with us. So he identified as both as an African nationalist and a socialist. And he was part of the African National Congress, which was kind of like the ruling body of South Africa at the time, other than like the president that did that. He was a practical politician. I think this is important, rather than an intellectual scholar or political theorist. According to biographer Tom Lodge, for Mandela, politics has always been primarily about enacting stories and making narratives primarily about moral exemplary conduct, and only secondarily about ideological vision, more about means rather than ends. And I think this is a big thing. Like, this is not just in general, no matter which side of the spectrum, the political spectrum you fall on, that's not the mode of operation for most politicians.
Yeah, I was going to say this is a very unpopular opinion. And not unpopular in that I think it's bad, but unpopular in that most politicians, at least especially in America, that the ends justify the means. Getting your thing accomplished, whatever it is, whether it's a bill or your ideology becoming mainstream, whatever, that's the goal, not how you do it. Right. But for Mandela, it's how you do it. And I think that speaks volumes about a person's character.
Right. And like an example of what we're talking about, because this is a little heady to get that, I think about it as like a politician coming up and saying like, we want to, in an American context, we want to make America better for its citizens or something like that. Is an ideological goal. That is completely of an end. Like, it's not, there's no means at all to it. Mm-hmm. Versus, we want to end apartheid by getting rid of segregation, creating equal opportunities, things like that. Like, those have the means that they want to accomplish. Well, it's more measurable.
Right, definitely. But I also think it's about how you go about accomplishing your goal. It's not just about what you're going to do. Like, it's saying, we want to, let's just bring something up that's topical. We want to increase the birth rate in our country, right? Like, that's your goal, for example. How you do it matters. There are some politicians out there that are proposing, okay, well, let's just give people $5,000 if they have a baby as a tax rebate. Not necessarily a bad thing. Like, okay, great. But that doesn't solve the issues facing new parents. That probably wouldn't cover most people's hospital stays. And so, like, if the way you went about increasing the birth rate was instead to, fund childcare more, or to make laws that say, hey, baby companies, you can't charge 5,000% markup on your product because, people have to have them. Mm-hmm. Those are going to be more sustainable, measurable ways of getting the birth rate up rather than just, throwing money at it.
Correct.
So that's kind of the way in which we're accomplishing a goal is really what we're talking about here.
Exactly. And just also his political development was strongly influenced by his legal training and practice. In particular, his hope to achieve change not through violence, but through legal revolution. And we're going to talk about Mandela and violence in a moment, actually just pretty soon. But like, he is very much, it's very American revolutionary kind of ideology of we're going to try everything and violent revolution is our last resort. And that's kind of how the patriots in the American Revolution kind of were. They were like, we have tried everything that we think we can try. So this is where we're at this point. So over the course of his life, he began advocating for a path of nonviolence. He later embraces violence and then adopting a nonviolent approach to negotiation and reconciliation. And kind of with this, when endorsing violence, he did so because he saw no alternative, just like we talked about. He was always pragmatic about it, perceiving it as a means to get his opponent to the negotiating table. So, like, it is a point of, like, forcing the hand of the person, forcing the person to come to the negotiating table. Like, and we'll later talk about, like, he didn't try to target individual people. He targeted symbols of white supremacy that he wanted to get people to the negotiating table, which I think is really interesting. It's very much, we kind of talk about sometimes, like, in American history, people like to pick MLK, Martin Luther King Jr., and Malcolm X against each other. Mandela, in this sense, I think is kind of blending the two a little bit. I wouldn't say that like Malcolm X loves violence. I just think he's a little more
comfortable with
it.
Yeah, I think it's hard because when you're like a Christian pastor, like, I don't know, nobody who has like true Christian faith, in my opinion, is going to endorse violence. Like, yes, of course we have extremists, but I would say those are not true Christians, you know? But I don't necessarily think that this is out of character, at least as far as we've talked about so far, because politicians do this all the time. Politicians use violence to get their goals across.
Yeah, it happens all the time, like you said, all the time, and getting there. So he was so democratic. Like, he was a big advocate of democracy, and he held a conviction that inclusivity, accountability, and freedom of speech were the fundamentals of a democracy, which is, you know, if you want to read the Constitution and you want to read the Declaration of Independence, I would not say that these are not also the foundations of what the founding fathers and Americans believed were the foundations of democracy.
Yeah.
Maybe not inclusivity, given our history, but
definitely not inclusivity, but yes, I agree with the others.
And was driven by a belief in natural and human rights. And natural rights are like the rights of the world and nature and kind of things like that. Historians argue that there are two sides to Mandela. On one side, he adheres to ideas about the collective leadership, although on the other believed that there were scenarios in which a leader had to be decisive and act without a consultation to achieve a particular objective. I think this is just a leader who knows how the world works. He knows a difference between the ideal and like what has to be done.
Right, exactly. To me, this is not two sides to a person. To me, that's historians being stupid. Like, no, it's just a person who has to choose how he behaves in a certain situation versus a different situation. Like, no person can act the same way in two different scenarios. Like, that's just reality. Like, I'm sorry if you expect him to always be so collective leadership. We have to vote on everything. He's not going to get anything done.
Right. And to a point here of like another analogy of this point, when you have a child, ideally, most of the time when you can, you want to explain things to the child so when they learn and adapt to that. When your child is reaching their hand into an open and on oven that is hot, you don't have time to sit there and have a conversation about why you don't touch the oven. You pick the child up and remove them from that situation,
right? And
then you have a conversation.
You don't gentle parent the kid and say, "No, honey, do you want to move your hand away from the stove?" You jerk them away so they don't hurt themselves and have to go to the emergency room.
Correct. And yeah, they might cry, they might get scared, but you can always adapt that. Like, and I think that's the practical thing of that. I think it's just a man who realizes what needs to be done and the responsibility of a leader who knows like when to bring other people in, but also realizing that the people elected you to lead them.
Right. Yeah, I just think historians, they frustrate me sometimes because it's like, we got to take the whole thing into perspective here. Like, we can't just analyze every little thing and say, well, this doesn't match up to this. And yeah, because we interact differently with the world when the context changes, when, you know, people behave differently. Like, as leaders, as people, as humans, we've got to react to what's in front of us, and we don't react the same two ways every time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Definitely agree with that. So on the other side, he also advocated ultimately for the establishment of a classless society, which kind of puts him more on there are some historians who are like, oh, he's a socialist and a Marxist, and then other historians are just like, no, he just was a complex human being.
Yeah. So like, I see you have in the notes that he was opposed to like private land ownership. And I mean, I have to wonder, like, if the context was different, right? Like if apartheid had been more similar to American segregation, where, you know, black people in South Africa could own land and white people could own land, I wonder if his opinion would be different, because that's part of apartheid, that only white people could own land. So I do wonder if, had that context been different, he might have had a different opinion.
Yes.
And maybe not, but we'll never know.
He's very influenced. Like, he did study like Karl Marx and Marxism in his like education. So there is that influence on Marx definitely has an influence on Mandela. The way he leans into democracy a little more, I think, is like, I would not call him a full-on socialist or Marxist. And he's definitely not a communist.
Right.
So he was also described as being exceptionally intelligent, shrewd, and a loyal leader. Privately, he lived an austere life, refusing to drink alcohol or smoke, and even as president made his own bed, which I think is a testament to like I think we see this a lot. Like, we see about Pope Francis too. Like, he refused a lot of the like privileges and luxuries that came with the papal office. Like, I think sometimes a person who's really committed to how they are like, no, and I think it's an intentional choice on Nelson Mandela's. It's not just like a thing of like, oh, I'm going to make my own bed. It's like, I don't want to lose sight of what it means to be like a regular person.
Yeah.
So this is something I can control, and I'm going to make my own bed.
Yeah, I feel that. And I have a lot of respect for that, because I think it's easy when you enter into a life of luxury, it's easy to just like become accustomed to the trappings of luxury. Like, you know, we talk about lifestyle creep all the time for just us regular people who don't have luxuries. And that's easy to do too. And so I do have to give a lot of respect to somebody who has the character to still, you know, kind of be humble and down to earth, even when you've reached the top.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think that's all I have for him. So we can transition to our mid-break, and then we can get back into his Assassin's Creed involvement and where we think he lies.
All right, well, let's get into the mid-break then.
Lowe's knows to bring your vision to life, it's important to find the right color. That's why MyLowe's Rewards members get a free Valspar paint or exterior stain sample to test your look to confidently refresh your space. Offer valid in-store only 8/7 to 8/20. Limit 1 per customer while supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See associate for details. Rewards program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
This episode is brought to you by Greenlight. Get this. Adults with financial literacy skills have 82% more wealth than those who don't. From swimming lessons to piano classes, us parents invest in so many things to enrich our kids' lives. But are we investing in their future financial success? With Greenlight, you can teach your kids financial literacy skills like earning, saving, and investing. And this investment costs less than that after-school treat. Start prioritizing their financial education and future today with a risk-free trial at greenlight.com/Spotify. Greenlight.com/Spotify.
This episode is sponsored by Friskies, who would like to tell your cats hi. Now, if that didn't get your cat's attention, there is one thing that always does the trick. Just pour some Friskies crunchy food in the bowl and you'll hear those paws come running. Works every time. With so many Friskies choices, you can always bring your cats running from their secret napping spots. There's always more to explore. See for yourself at friskies.com or visit your local store.
Ma cos'è? Shoot! Shoot a flying demon!
Quite a carriage you got there. Where did you buy it, if you don't mind me asking?
Ask all you want, Freddy. You'll never get an answer.
Damn it all. Was it my eyebrows?
Yes, and your face, voice, and body.
What have you done? We used them. They were not ready for firing. You could have gotten us all killed. Let me see. His breath is more fatal than our cannons. Only when you two fools are shooting them. There, try it.
Hello and welcome to the middle of the show. This is where we take time to talk about all things that have to do with the lore cast and not the lore of Assassin's Creed. So the first thing that we do every single week is shout out our Patreon. You can join us on Patreon by going to patreon.com/aclorecast. There's tons of different tiers. You can join us on the show. You can get merch, which we're sending out the next round of merch in June. So definitely hop on in there if you are interested. Now, the next best way to support us is to leave us a rating or a review, a comment, whatever you can, wherever you can. If you leave us something outside of Spotify or Apple, definitely send it to us so we can read it out on the show. Otherwise, we probably won't see it. So this review that I have today comes from True Alpha 45, who commented on our Connor Kenway character deep dive. And they said, just started listening 2 days ago, but I'm infatuated with Assassin's Creed since November 13th, 2007. Love this game. I know a lot, but you guys know some stuff I didn't. I love the pod. Hope it's still running. The podcast is definitely still going. I think you commented this when we were in the middle of a break. So we're back. We've been back. Yeah, we're still here. And I know you commented on a character deep dive from a long time ago. So you've got a lot of episodes ahead of you. Now, the next thing I have to talk about is that you should come join our Discord server. It's the best place on the internet. Come talk about Shadows with us. Come talk about any Assassin's Creed game, any other game. Maybe you're playing Expedition 33, the Oblivion remake. I don't know. Whatever game it is, we're talking about it in the Discord. The next to last thing I have to talk about is my Assassin's Creed Shadows playthrough, though, of which I am like 51 hours into. I don't think I've given an update in a long time, and I have really been playing a lot. So I'm enjoying it. I have almost killed all of the Shinbaku. I have romanced or tried to romance a character with both Naoe and Yasuke. I was turned down by Yasuke, or Yasuke was turned down. And I am actually romancing my second character with Naoe. Just fun fact. Austin's shaking his head over there. But I am really enjoying the game. I have taken down most of the little objective circles. I only have one more Shinbaku to uncover before I can go after Mitsuhide and the leader. I've got all kinds of animals, all kinds of people, all kinds of stuff at the hideout. Level like 48, 49 maybe. I can't remember. What else? I don't know. I mean, there's definitely been some things I've been surprised by. I don't want to talk about them yet because they're spoilers. But I also, once I kind of figured out the Pathfinder thing, exploration got a lot easier. But yeah, I mean, the only thing I really hate about it so far is winter.
You hate winter in real life too.
Yeah, it tracks. I was fully expecting to hate the season of winter. I think my biggest pet peeve with winter is when it's high winter and it's snowy everywhere, not just when it's cold without snow. When the snow is on the ground, you cannot see the Pathfinder path at all. And that makes me annoyed.
Yeah, but part of that is just
I know it's white on white. I get it, but it still is annoying. But overall, I think it's a great game. I'm really interested to see where the story ends up. I have some thoughts about who the like main leader of the Shinbaku could be, but I'm not sold on any of them yet. So we'll see.
I'll be quite honest with you. I didn't call it. So.
Well, I've already been surprised by one member of the Shinbaku. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I called that one, but I'm surprised you didn't.
I was just blinded, I guess, by my love for her. I don't know.
But yeah, I think we just have one more announcement and then we can.
Yeah, we do have an announcement for the podcast. I'm gonna let Austin do it though.
So it is a very exciting announcement. If you're on our Discord, you already know this information, but it is an exciting and fun announcement, and that's that Shelby and I are going to have a baby due in July, and so we're very, very excited about that. And it does also mean that we will be taking a break from the podcast for a little bit, and so we will end. Our last episode before this break will be our July patron chat.
June patron chat.
Our June patron chat. and then we will take a break. So don't freak out. We are coming back. We haven't quite figured out the cadence, so it might not be an episode every week, but we will come back with more Assassin's Creed lore and all kinds of stuff, and same with our other show, the Dragon Age Lorecast. But we are very, very excited to welcome in new life and grow in our family, and we are excited to continue to do that and continue to provide this podcast to you.
Yes, we definitely will be back, because I don't anticipate us releasing a Assassin's Creed Shadows episode before we leave, so we'll definitely have to come back for that.
We definitely will.
My goal is to finish the game before the baby comes, so I think I'm on track for that. Austin can confirm.
Yes, and yeah, we will give you a full, like, in-depth analysis, talking about the story, full spoilers, full send on everything will come if you're waiting for that. I know it has been a long time, but we've got to get through the game.
It hasn't been that long. It's only been a few months.
That is correct.
But yeah, so anyway, let's get back into Nelson Mandela.
All right.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Learning through play starts with Lego Duplo. With Lego Duplo, toddlers can develop real-life skills while having fun with colorful bricks made just for them. Large, easy to grip, and safe to explore. When children express themselves with Lego Duplo, they build patience, problem-solving, and empathy. See your child learn perseverance and self-expression with everything they imagine and create. Visit lego.com/preschool to learn more.
This episode is brought to you by Buick. Buick certified service technicians are factory trained to fit your vehicle with the tires specifically developed for it. And with our tire price match guarantee, you get the best fit for the best deal. Buick, exceptional by design. Available on select eligible tire brands at participating dealers only. Offer ends 12/31/2025. Terms apply. See dealer for complete details. Visit buick.com/service to learn more.
Malaka. But that madman, the self-proclaimed Bishop of the Ruins, is our biggest critic. He calls our playing the devil's bagpipes.
I will sleep with anyone as long as they agree to be executed in the morning.
Like Xantivis.
He was well satisfied with his bargain. Who is this toothsome fellow?
My queen, this is,
Well?
It is a generous offer, but I've already pledged my life to this woman.
Aya, you have chosen well.
So this surprised me. He doesn't even have a Wikipedia page.
Nothing.
In the Assassin's
No mention
Creed fandom.
whatsoever.
No mention, no nothing. I mean, he might have been mentioned. But I want to talk about, because there's been a lot of talk of like wanting a game in the modern era. Like that's set in the modern era, and I know you're rolling your eyes on this, but I think this is the time this would be the time period and area to do it in.
Yeah, I know earlier I said that the 90s is the modern era, but like there are historical fiction books coming out about the 90s and early 2000s.
No.
So like
that makes me feel old.
You are old. I'm sorry, but like we're getting into a point where it's like, can we really call it modern?
Right. I think this is a way to do it, especially to get into, like, obviously we have had a game set in Egypt, which is northern Africa, and so, but getting into a different part of Africa, we're really looking forward to. But the time period is interesting. The Great Purge is less than a decade away during this time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so that's happening. So like the assassins at this point are consolidating power. They're consolidating power across the world, and their mentor is kind of doing this like secret. He's almost a secret, if not mythological entity for the assassins. Like there are assassins who don't believe the mentor of the mentor of the whole brotherhood exists
in general. Yeah.
And so I think it would be really interesting to see the interplay and perhaps maybe the rise of apartheid or the fall of apartheid and all of that like is a catalyst to start the movement of the Great Purge in such a way. I think it would be really, really interesting to see the players in here of doing that.
So what I'm hearing is that you think Nelson Mandela was an assassin.
Well, I didn't say that.
You implied that.
Yes. So I guess let's just dive right in. I mean, is it really up for debate? Like, politicians can do a lot, but Nelson Mandela's commitment to the means being more important than the ends, and that his commitment to the everyday person, like he wanted to serve the everyday people. And he detested those who lorded power over other people. Like, this man is a poster child for the Assassin's Brotherhood.
I think the debate is not assassin versus Templar in this episode. I think that the debate is member versus ally.
Yes, I do think that is where it needs to be. I think that it would be, I see it playing out of like him not being a member of the Assassins and being really disillusioned with them because of their use of violence.
Yes.
And then later coming to realize like, okay, yeah, like you've got a point.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I could see him joining the order like as a young man, as an activist, as this like freedom fighter for his country, and being very enamored and very into everything that they've done and just, full send everything Assassins. And then as he becomes more and more into politics, moving away, or even, if he dug into the history of the Assassins a little bit more and kind of like found out about Aya and Amunet and her kind of like quest for vengeance that drives her, I could see that disillusioning him. Or, even some of these other, just events throughout assassin history. I think especially of Altair's era where, so many assassins die. So many assassins are murdered needlessly. And the violence is needless. Yeah. I could see that disillusioning him moving away from the assassins and him taking more of this pacifist lens. And then when he becomes president, getting drawn back in again because he needs them.
Yes, I think that's possible. I also could see him getting disillusioned with the idea of this like secret mythological mentor that the Assassins are doing this, and like feeling like the Assassins have gotten away from their purpose and their desire, and him like sheltering away the South African Brotherhood in such a way that's like they do survive the purge in some way.
That would be really cool.
Because it is like by the time he is no longer president, the purge happens in like 1999. Like because killing all those assassins is what allows George W. Bush to get elected.
Oh my God. Okay.
Is really which is like,
so the assassins.
This is why like coming into like more recent history
it becomes complicated.
It's complicated because like it's real lived history. And right. I know like sometimes there are longer things that are real lived events, but like no one who lived in Renaissance Italy is alive today.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, exactly. It just becomes more memeable the more you get to the modern day. Like, yeah, truly.
And like just the conspiracy theories that George W. Bush was just a puppet.
Yeah, no, that's fair. But I do think that there are a lot of really cool things they could do with this story. And I think your idea about like, okay, he's going to shelter the Brotherhood, because if you have an assassin who's a president, like that's a very unique situation for your leader to be in. You can wield power to protect them in ways none of the other assassins are protected.
Correct. So I do think that's really interesting. So I'm landing on probably an assassin that isn't as involved later into his political career.
Well, and I also have to wonder, like, most assassins don't live to be old men.
That is correct.
We do have Ezio. We've got a few.
But like Ezio is only like 50.
Like he's not that old. I think he's older than that, but he's not that old. He's not elderly.
Yeah, he is old for the time, definitely.
Yeah, but not elderly. Like I wouldn't say he's elderly, like decrepit, like unable to walk. Like he's not going to have to be hooked up to oxygen, Like I know I'm using modern examples, but like he's able to still farm and walk around, and he's still able to train Xiao Jun. Like, he's still able-bodied.
Yes.
So he's not really, like, truly elderly.
No, not really at all. And I think that there are some others that we see to be quote-unquote elderly. There's another one that we see almost from, like, birth to death, but I can't remember.
Achilles?
Maybe... Well, we see Achilles as a young man and then an older man. Yes.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I mean, there are a few that get to have their life, their retirement, essentially.
Yeah. I know they're not an assassin, but Cassandra lives a really long time.
Yeah, but she doesn't age. So I don't feel like that's quite the same.
That's fair. That is absolutely fair. But yeah, Basim's still kicking.
Again, is he aging?
Not really.
I don't think that counts. But anyway, so lots more we could say. Probably we could tangent on this for a long time, but let's suffice it to say that we solidly think Nelson Mandela was probably an assassin, potentially a disillusioned one, potentially an ally, but definitely affiliated with the assassin order in some way.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, that's all I've got for this episode.
All right. Well, let's wrap it up. Thank you so much, Austin, for doing the research, as always. And thank you for listening to the Assassin's Creed Lorecast. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Assassin's Creed Lorecast. You can find us on Twitter at ACLorecast.
If you have any lore questions or topics to unpack, join our Cups Podcasting and More Discord server. It's the best place on the internet. You can also support us financially through our Patreon. Find us on patreon.com/Assassin's Creed Lorecast. The Assassin's Creed Lorecast is part of the Robots Radio Network. For more information about the Robots Radio Network, join the Discord server via the link in our episode's description.
If you enjoyed the show or learned something new today, please subscribe, leave us a review, and join the Patreon. And if you enjoyed our intro and outro music, make sure you give a big thank you to Pipeman Studios. Thank you, Pipeman. Thanks again for listening to the Assassin's Creed Lorecast. And always remember, Assassins, stay in the shadows to serve the light.
This episode is brought to you by FX's Alien Earth, the official podcast. Each week, host Adam Rogers is joined by guests, including the show's creator, cast, and crew, in this exclusive companion podcast. They will explore story elements, deep dive into character motivations, and offer an episode-by-episode behind-the-scenes breakdown of each terrifying chapter in this new series. Search FX's Alien Earth wherever you listen to podcasts.
Want to live better? We got a lot of work to do. Join Chris Hemsworth in National Geographic's new Disney Plus original series, Limitless. Live Better Now.
I'm diving headfirst into cutting-edge science to uncover 3 powerful secrets to living better right now. The growth that occurs through any challenging experience is really what we seek.
Chris Hemsworth stars in Limitless. Live Better Now. Now streaming on Disney Plus and Hulu.
It's showtime.